Fleet Admiral Kang Do-hyun stood in the center of the massive command room. His green skin showed the deep lines of someone who had fought many battles across the galaxy. Around him, dozens of screens showed star maps, ship formations, and tactical data. The Galactic Federation's greatest military leader was planning his next conquest. On the main display, a small blue planet slowly turned. Earth, home to the humans. Kang had read the reports about this species. They were new to space travel. Their ships were slow and weak. Their weapons were simple. They would be easy to defeat. "Admiral," called Dr. Park Sojin from her station. The Federation's top scientist walked over with a data pad in her hands. "I have finished studying the human biology reports." Kang turned to look at her. "What did you find?" "They are interesting creatures," Park said. "They can live in many different environments. Hot, cold, dry, wet. They heal quickly from injuries. They can eat many types of food. But this does not matter. Their technology is very basic." Other officers in the command room laughed. Lieutenant Bei Jinwoo shook his head. "I saw their space stations. They still use metal and glass. No energy shields. No quantum computers. They are like children playing with toys." Commander Ryu Haesung pulled up images of human spacecraft. "Look at these ships. They burn chemicals to move through space. We stopped using that technology 1,000 years ago. This will be the easiest conquest in Federation history." Kang smiled. He had conquered 47 worlds for the Federation. Each victory had brought more resources, more territory, more power. The humans would just be another entry in his long list of defeated species. "How many ships do we need?" asked Kim Yuna, the cultural expert. She studied primitive civilizations for the Federation. "Usually I recommend overwhelming force to break their spirit quickly." 500 ships should be enough, Kang decided. "Maybe too many. But I want this finished fast." The Council is watching this operation closely. The command room buzzed with activity. Officers prepared battle plans. Engineers checked weapon systems. The Federation war machine was getting ready to crush another weak species. Lee Taeho, a young sensor operator, looked confused at his readings. "Admiral, I am seeing some strange energy patterns near the outer planets of their solar system." Kang barely looked over. "What kind of energy?" "I am not sure, sir. The patterns do not match anything in our databases. They appear and disappear quickly. Could be equipment problems on our sensors." "Check the sensors later," Kang said with a wave of his hand. "Primitive species sometimes have fusion reactors that create odd readings." "Nothing to worry about." Dr. Park was still studying her data. "The humans have only been in space for less than 100 of their years. Most of that time was spent on their moon and nearby planets. They have never met another intelligent species before. They will be terrified when they see our fleet." The Federation had perfected the art of conquest over thousands of years. First, they would arrive with massive fleets to show their power. Most species surrendered immediately when they saw Federation technology. Those who fought back were quickly defeated. Then came the integration process. The conquered species would provide resources and labor. In return, they received Federation protection and technology. It was a fair system, Kang believed. The strong ruled the weak. That was the natural order of the universe. "What about their leaders?" asked Kim Yuna. "Do we know how their government works?" "They have many small governments," Dr. Park replied. "Hundreds of separate groups control different parts of their planet. They often fight each other. No central authority. This will make conquest easier. We can defeat them piece by piece." Admiral Kang walked to the large window that showed space outside. Thousands of Federation ships were gathering. Massive battleships with energy weapons that could destroy cities. Fast attack ships with shields that could stop any primitive weapon. "Troop carriers filled with soldiers ready to occupy another world, sir," called Bei Jinwoo. "All fleet commanders are ready. Weapons are charged. Shields are active. We can depart whenever you give the order." Kang thought about his orders from the Federation Council. Supreme Chancellor Nam Wonshik had been very clear. The humans were expanding too quickly into space. They were exploring new star systems. They were building more ships and stations. Left alone, they might become a problem in a few hundred years. Better to stop them now while they were still weak. "The humans think they are alone in the universe," Kang said to his officers. "Today they will learn the truth. They will learn that stronger species rule the galaxy. They will learn their place." Commander Ryu pulled up the invasion plan on the main screen. "We jump to their outer solar system first. Let them see our fleet. Give them time to panic. Then we move to their homeworld and demand surrender. How long until they surrender? Asked Lieutenant Bay. Most primitive species give up within hours, Kim Yuna answered. Seeing our technology breaks their will to fight. Some try to negotiate. Some beg for mercy. None ever win, Dr. Park added more information. Humans seem to be social creatures. They care about their families and their home planet. Threatening their world should make them cooperate quickly. Kang nodded. It was the same pattern every time. Primitive species always thought they were special. They believed they were the most advanced life in the universe. Then the Federation arrived and showed them the truth. What about their culture? Kang asked. Will they understand our superiority? They have legends about powerful beings from the stars, Kim Yuna replied. Gods and angels and such things. They should recognize that we are far beyond them. Their own stories will help them accept defeat. The fleet was ready, 500 of the Federation's best ships, enough firepower to crack a planet's surface, enough troops to control billions of people, enough technology to make any primitive species bow down in fear. Admiral, reported the communications officer. All ships confirm ready status. Course is set for the human solar system. Quantum drives are charged. Kang took one last look at the image of Earth. Such a small, unimportant world. After today, it would be just another Federation colony. The humans would work in mines and factories. Their children would learn Federation language and customs. In a few generations, they would forget they were ever independent. It was almost sad, Kang thought. Every species went through this moment when they realized they were not alone. When they learned that the universe was bigger and more dangerous than they imagined. But it was necessary. The Federation brought order to the galaxy, peace through strength. All ships, Kang announced over the fleet communication system. This is Admiral Kang. Today we bring another species into the Federation family. The humans will learn to serve the greater good of galactic civilization. They will provide resources for the benefit of all advanced species. He paused and looked around the command room. His officers stood ready. His fleet waited for orders. The Federation war machine was about to claim another victory. Begin the jump to human space, Kang commanded. It is time to teach these primitives about real power. The massive fleet disappeared in flashes of blue light. Quantum drives bent space and time, carrying the Federation armada toward Earth. In a few hours, humanity would face their new masters. Admiral Kang was certain it would be a very short war. The Federation fleet dropped out of quantum space at the edge of the human solar system. Admiral Kang expected to see panic. Primitive ships fleeing in terror, emergency broadcasts begging for mercy. Instead, his sensors showed something impossible. The humans were waiting for them. Sir, Lieutenant Bei Jinwoo called from his station. I am detecting a single human vessel approaching our position. It appears to be alone, Kang frowned. One ship? Against 500 Federation warships? These humans were either incredibly brave or incredibly stupid. Show me, Kang ordered. The main screen displayed the approaching human vessel. It was smaller than a Federation battleship but larger than their fighters. The design looked strange. Smooth curves instead of sharp angles. No visible weapons, no energy shields that their sensors could detect. Are they trying to surrender? Asked Commander Ryu Hee-sung. Scan their ship, Kang commanded. I want to know everything about their weapons and defenses. Dr. Park Sojin worked at her station, trying to analyze the human vessel. After several minutes, she looked confused. Admiral, this is strange. I cannot get clear readings on their ship. Our quantum scanners are having difficulty penetrating their hull. Equipment problems, suggested Lieutenant Bay. I do not think so. The material of their ship does not match anything in our databases. It appears to be some kind of metal alloy, but the exact composition is unclear. Admiral Kang was getting annoyed. Their sensors could analyze the atomic structure of a planet from 1,000,000 kilometers away. How could one primitive ship block their scans? Incoming communication from the human vessel, reported the communications officer. Put it on screen, Kang ordered. The view screen showed the interior of the human ship. A man in a simple blue uniform sat in what appeared to be a command chair. He had dark hair and calm eyes. He looked directly at Admiral Kang without any sign of fear. Good morning, the human said in accented but clear Federation standard language. I am Captain Choi Minho of the Earth Defense Force. Welcome to our solar system. Admiral Kang was shocked. The human spoke their language. More importantly, he seemed completely relaxed. This was not how primitive species were supposed to react to Federation fleets. "I am Fleet Admiral Kang Do-yoon of the Galactic Federation," Kang replied. "You will surrender your planet immediately. Resistance is futile." Captain Choi smiled slightly. "I appreciate the direct approach, Admiral. However, I must respectfully decline your request. Perhaps you would consider turning your fleet around and leaving peacefully?" The command room fell silent. Dr. Park stared at her instruments in disbelief. Kim Yuna, the cultural expert, looked completely confused. No primitive species had ever responded this way. "You do not understand," Kang said, his voice getting louder. "You are facing 500 Federation warships. Your entire species cannot stand against our power. Surrender now and your people will be treated well." "I understand perfectly," Captain Choi replied calmly. "You have brought a large military force to our home system. You are demanding our surrender. This is clearly an invasion attempt." Kang felt his anger rising. How dare this primitive creature speak to him as an equal? "Your ships are no match for Federation technology. Your weapons cannot penetrate our shields. Your defenses cannot stop our attacks. Submit now or face destruction." Captain Choi leaned back in his chair. "Admiral, may I ask how many worlds your Federation has conquered using this approach?" 47, Kang replied automatically, then felt angry at himself for answering. "Impressive record," the human said. "Tell me, how did those other species react when they first saw your fleet?" Dr. Park was monitoring the communication channel. Something was bothering her about the human's bio-readings. His heart rate was steady. His brain activity showed no signs of stress or fear. Either humans were very different from other species, or Captain Choi was not what he appeared to be. "They surrendered," Kang said through gritted teeth. "As you should. Interesting. And how long did it usually take?" Kim Yuna stepped forward. "Admiral, this conversation is pointless. The human is clearly in shock. His mind cannot process the reality of our superiority." But Captain Choi heard her comment. "Not in shock, I'm afraid. Just trying to understand your perspective. We have encountered many aggressive species in our travels. Most of them eventually learn to coexist peacefully with their neighbors." Admiral Kang felt like his head was spinning. The human talked about encountering other species. They had traveled, but the report said humans had never left their solar system before. "You are lying," Kang declared. "Our intelligence shows that humans have never met other intelligent life. You have never traveled beyond your own star system." Captain Choi looked thoughtful. "Your intelligence is incomplete, Admiral. We have been exploring the galaxy for quite some time now. Earth is just one of our many worlds." Dr. Park's instruments suddenly registered massive energy spikes throughout the solar system, not from the human ship in front of them, but from multiple locations around nearby planets and moons. "Admiral," she called urgently, "I am detecting energy signatures consistent with large spacecraft. They appear to be powering up weapons and shield systems." "Where?" Kang demanded. "Everywhere, sir. Behind the planets, in the asteroid fields near the outer moons. I count at least 50 vessels, possibly more." Lieutenant Bay checked his tactical displays. "How did they hide from our sensors?" "I do not know," Dr. Park admitted. "The technology required to mask that many ships should be beyond human capabilities." Captain Choi watched their conversation with mild interest. "Admiral, I should mention that several of my colleagues would like to speak with you. They are concerned about your presence in our territory." New images appeared on the Federation screens. Captain after captain of human ships reported in, each one calm, professional, and completely unafraid. Their ships became visible as sophisticated cloaking systems deactivated. Admiral Kang stared in growing horror. The human vessels were not primitive chemical rockets. They were sleek, advanced spacecraft with energy signatures that his sensors could barely understand. "This is impossible," he whispered. "Admiral Song Mi-jin here," announced a woman from one of the larger human ships. "Captain Choi, are our guests being cooperative?" "We are still in negotiations," Captain Choi replied diplomatically. Commander Ryu was studying the tactical situation. "Sir, their ships have surrounded our fleet. They must have been waiting in ambush." "But how did they know we were coming?" asked Lieutenant Bay. Captain Choi seemed to hear the question. "Admiral, your fleet was detected several days ago when you entered our monitoring network. We have been tracking your approach since you left Federation space." Dr. Park felt cold fear growing in her stomach. "Monitoring network? How far does it extend?" "Oh, quite far," Captain Choi said casually. "We like to keep track of military movements in our region of the galaxy. Admiral Kang found his voice again. Your region? This is Federation space. We control this entire sector! Captain Choi's expression grew slightly more serious. I think there may be some confusion about territorial boundaries, Admiral. This solar system has been under Earth Defense Force protection for over 300 years. 300 years? Kang sputtered. But you only achieved spaceflight recently. Again, your intelligence appears to be outdated. Captain Choi touched some controls on his chair. I'm transmitting our current territorial map to your ship. I think you will find it educational. The Federation command screens filled with a three-dimensional star map. Thousands of star systems glowed with markers indicating human presence. Trade routes, military bases, colonies, and research stations spread across hundreds of light years. Kim Yuna stared at the display in shock. This covers most of the galaxy, but this is impossible. We would have detected such an extensive civilization. Would you? Captain Choi asked gently. Admiral, may I suggest that your Federation's expansion has been permitted to continue because we found it interesting to observe. Your species shows potential for growth beyond conquest. The words hit Admiral Kang like physical blows. Permitted to continue. Interesting to observe. The mighty Galactic Federation was nothing more than an amusing curiosity to these humans. I do not believe this, Kang said desperately. You are trying to trick us with false data and hidden ships. Captain Choi sighed softly. Admiral, I really hoped we could resolve this peacefully. But if you insist on proceeding with your invasion plan, I will need to contact my superiors. Trust me when I say that you do not want their attention. For the first time in his military career, Admiral Kang felt genuine fear. Looking at the calm human captain, surrounded by evidence of impossible technology and vast territorial claims, he began to suspect that the Federation had made a terrible mistake. Admiral Kang had heard enough. These humans were clearly bluffing. No primitive species could hide such advanced technology from Federation sensors. They must be using some kind of trick to make their ships appear more powerful than they really were. All ships prepare for battle, Kang commanded over the fleet communication system. Target the human vessels. Show them the true power of the Federation. Captain Choi's image on the screen looked disappointed. Admiral, please reconsider. This will not end well for your people. Silence, Kang shouted. You primitive creatures dare to threaten the Federation? We have conquered worlds across the galaxy. Your pathetic species will learn to bow before superior beings. As you wish, Captain Choi said quietly. All Earth Defense Force units, you are cleared to defend our territory. Try not to damage their ships too badly. We may need them intact for intelligence purposes. Admiral Kang cut the communication channel. Fire at will. Destroy their lead ship. The Federation fleet opened fire with everything they had. Plasma cannons that could melt through asteroid armor sent brilliant beams toward Captain Choi's vessel. Quantum torpedoes that could crack moon surfaces streaked through space. Energy weapons that had destroyed countless enemy fleets unleashed their terrible power. The human ship simply absorbed the attack. Energy shields that should not exist deflected the plasma beams. The hull remained undamaged despite direct hits from their most powerful weapons. Dr. Park watched her instruments in growing terror as the readings showed impossible things. Remain hit with plasma cannons, reported Lieutenant Bay. No damage to target. Quantum torpedoes impact, added Commander Ryu. Target shields holding at 100%. How is this possible? Kang demanded. Dr. Park was frantically checking her equipment. Admiral, their shield technology is beyond anything in our databases. The energy patterns suggest they are manipulating space-time itself to deflect our attacks. The human response came immediately. Captain Choi's ship fired a single energy beam at the Federation flagship. The beam punched through their quantum shields like they were made of paper. Alarms screamed throughout the command center as hull plating vaporized and secondary systems exploded. Shields down to 60%, shouted the damage control officer. Hull breach on decks 15 through 20. Admiral Kang stared in shock. One shot. One single shot from a human ship had done more damage than most enemy fleets managed in entire battles. All ships, concentrate fire on that vessel. Kang ordered desperately. The Federation fleet focused their combined firepower on Captain Choi's ship. Hundreds of energy weapons struck the human vessel simultaneously. The space around it glowed white-hot from the intensity of the bombardment. When the light faded, The human ship remained completely undamaged. Impossible, whispered Commander Ryu. Captain Choi's voice came over their communication system again. Admiral, you are wasting ammunition. Perhaps we should demonstrate the difference in our technology levels. More human ships decloaked throughout the solar system. Admiral Song Mijin's massive vessel emerged from behind Saturn, its hull gleaming with unknown metals. The ship was larger than anything the Federation had ever built, and energy readings suggested it carried enough firepower to destroy entire fleets. This is Admiral Song of the Earth Defense Force, came a woman's voice. Federation fleet, you are outgunned and surrounded. Stand down immediately or face the consequences. Never, Kang shouted back. The Federation does not surrender to primitives. Admiral Song sighed audibly. Very well. All units demonstrate our capabilities. Minimum force only. The human ships opened fire. What followed was not a battle. It was a demonstration of technological superiority so complete that Admiral Kang felt his worldview crumbling. Human energy weapons sliced through Federation shields like they were not there. Their targeting systems hit weak points that Federation engineers did not even know existed. Ships that had dominated galactic warfare for centuries were disabled with surgical precision. Dr. Park watched helplessly as human cyber warfare specialists penetrated their computer networks. Led by someone identified only as Tech, Specialist Onari, the humans bypassed every security protocol the Federation had developed over thousands of years. They are in our navigation systems, reported Lieutenant Bay. Our targeting computers are offline. Life support is fluctuating. How are they doing this? Kang demanded. I do not know, Dr. Park admitted. Their computer technology appears to operate on principles we do not understand. They are accessing our quantum encrypted networks as if the encryption did not exist. Commander Ryu was coordinating damage reports from across the fleet. Sir, we have lost 47 ships. 63 more are severely damaged. The humans have not lost a single vessel. Admiral Kang felt something he had never experienced before in battle. Complete helplessness. The Federation fleet, pride of galactic civilization, was being destroyed by an enemy they had dismissed as primitive. Admiral, came a new voice over the communication system. This is General Yoon Seokman of Earth Ground Forces. My troops are standing by to accept the surrender of your landing forces. We have prepared comfortable accommodations for your soldiers. We have not launched any landing forces, Kang replied automatically. Not yet, General Yoon agreed cheerfully. But when you do, we will be ready. Our ground-based defenses are quite effective against orbital bombardment. We have had a lot of practice against more advanced species than yours. More advanced species? How many other civilizations had these humans fought? Dr. Park made another disturbing discovery. Admiral, I am detecting massive gravitational anomalies around the human ships. They appear to be manipulating local space-time to enhance their maneuverability. As if to prove her point, human vessels began moving in ways that violated the basic laws of physics. They turned without changing velocity. They accelerated without using visible propulsion. They seemed to teleport short distances during combat. They are toying with us, Commander Ryu realized. They could have destroyed our entire fleet in the first minute. They are keeping us alive on purpose. Captain Choi's ship moved alongside the Federation flagship. At close range, Admiral Kang could see details that made him feel sick. The human vessel showed no battle damage despite being targeted by hundreds of weapons. Its hull material seemed to repair itself between attacks. Energy readings suggested power sources that could fuel entire star systems. Admiral Kang. Captain Choi's voice was patient and calm. I believe your tactical situation has become clear. Your ships are disabled. Your weapons are ineffective. Your computer systems are compromised. Would you like to discuss terms? What terms? Kang asked weakly. Immediate withdrawal from our territory. Return to Federation space. A promise to leave human worlds alone in the future. In exchange, we will repair your ships and provide safe passage home. Admiral Kang looked around his damaged command center. Half his fleet was drifting helplessly in space. The other half was only functional because the humans allowed it. His officers stared at their instruments in shock and confusion. How? Kang whispered. How did you hide this from us? How did we not know? Admiral, Captain Choi replied gently. You never asked the right questions. You assumed we were primitive because we wanted you to think so. Sometimes it is useful to let aggressive species believe they are the strongest in the galaxy. But why? Why hide your true capabilities? Because, Admiral Song's voice joined the conversation. "We have learned that species develop better when they find their own path to advancement. Conquest and domination stunt growth. We prefer to watch and guide rather than control." Dr. Park was analyzing every piece of data she could gather about human technology. What she found terrified her. Energy signatures suggested matter manipulation at the quantum level. Gravitational control that could reshape solar systems. Computer systems that might be based on artificial intelligence far beyond anything the Federation had imagined. "Admiral," she whispered to Kang, "I think we need to reconsider our understanding of galactic civilization. These humans may not be the primitive species we thought." Admiral Kang stared at the image of Captain Choi on his screen. The human captain looked patient and calm, like a teacher waiting for a slow student to understand a lesson. For the first time in his career, Admiral Kang understood that he was not the predator in this situation. He was the prey, and these humans were so far beyond his species that they could afford to be merciful. We accept your terms," Kang said finally. "Excellent," Captain Choi replied. "Our repair ships will assist your damaged vessels. Please stand by for further instructions." Admiral Kang slumped in his command chair, trying to process what had just happened. The mighty Federation fleet had been defeated by a species they had classified as primitive. Everything he thought he knew about galactic civilization was wrong. Admiral Kang sat in his damaged command center, trying to understand what had happened. His pride, his fleet, his entire understanding of the galaxy had been shattered in a few hours. Around him, his officers worked quietly to assess the damage and tend to the wounded. Dr. Park Sojin approached his chair with a datapad in her trembling hands. "Admiral, I need to show you something. I have been analyzing the human technology, and what I found is impossible." "Nothing is impossible anymore," Kang replied bitterly. "Show me." Dr. Park activated a holographic display above her pad. "These are the energy readings from the human ships during our battle. Look at the power output levels." Admiral Kang studied the numbers. Then he looked again, certain he was reading them wrong. "These readings suggest power generation equivalent to a small star." "That is what I thought too. But I checked the instruments 3 times. Admiral, their smallest ships are producing more energy than our largest battleships. Their weapons are operating at efficiency levels that should be impossible according to known physics." Commander Ryu Hee-sung joined them, his face pale. "Sir, I have damage reports from the entire fleet." "The pattern of destruction is educational." "What do you mean?" "The humans targeted specific systems on each ship. They disabled our weapons without destroying our life support. They knocked out our shields without damaging our engines. They could have killed us all, but they chose exactly what to hit and what to leave alone." Dr. Park nodded grimly. "This suggests tactical knowledge of Federation ship design that they should not possess. They knew the location of every critical system on every class of vessel in our fleet." Admiral Kang felt a chill run down his spine. "How could they know our ship designs?" "I do not know, sir. But there is more." Dr. Park pulled up another display. "I managed to record some of their computer intrusion techniques. What I found suggests technology centuries ahead of anything we have developed." Lieutenant Bei Jinwoo looked up from his station. "Sir, we are receiving a priority communication from Federation Command. Supreme Chancellor Nam Wonshik wants a full report immediately." Admiral Kang dreaded making that call. How could he explain to the Federation Council that their supposedly invincible fleet had been defeated by a species they had classified as primitive? "Put him through," Kang ordered reluctantly. The main screen showed the angry face of Supreme Chancellor Nam. Behind him, other council members waited for answers. "Admiral Kang, explain why your fleet is requesting emergency assistance. What happened to your invasion of the human homeworld?" "Chancellor," Kang began carefully, "we encountered unexpected resistance. The humans were not as primitive as our intelligence suggested." "What do you mean, unexpected resistance?" "They have chemical rockets and nuclear weapons. You have 500 advanced warships." "Had, sir. We still have the ships, but they are badly damaged. The humans possess technology far beyond what we believed possible." Chancellor Nam's face turned darker. "Are you telling me that a primitive species defeated a Federation fleet?" Dr. Park stepped forward. "Chancellor, I respectfully request permission to submit my analysis of human technology. I believe we may have made a serious error in our assessment of their capabilities." "Submit your data immediately," the Chancellor ordered. Dr. Park transmitted her findings to Federation Command. On the screen, she could see other council members studying her information with growing alarm. After several minutes, Chancellor Nam spoke again. Dr. Park, are you certain of these readings? Yes, sir. I have verified them multiple times. The humans demonstrate technology consistent with a highly advanced civilization. Their power generation, defensive systems, and computer capabilities are centuries beyond our current level. Another council member appeared on screen. This was Dr. Lee Ariam, the Federation's chief science advisor. Dr. Park, your data suggests the humans can manipulate matter at the quantum level and control gravitational fields. If true, this places them in a technological category we have never encountered. That is my conclusion, Dr. Lee. Admiral Kang interrupted. There is more, Chancellor. The humans claim to have been aware of the Federation for hundreds of years. They say they have been watching us. Watching us? That is impossible. Our security protocols would have detected any surveillance network. Apparently not, sir. They knew we were coming days before we arrived. They had detailed information about our ship designs and battle tactics. They were prepared for everything we could do. Chancellor Nam was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke again, his voice was strained. Admiral, what exactly did these humans tell you about their civilization? They claimed to control territory throughout the galaxy. They showed us star maps indicating thousands of worlds under their influence. They spoke about encounters with multiple alien species. Dr. Lee interrupted from the screen. Admiral, did they mention anything about their origins? How long they have been spacefaring? They suggested that Earth is just one of their many worlds. They implied that they have been exploring the galaxy for far longer than our records indicate. The council members exchanged worried glances. Chancellor Nam leaned forward. Admiral, I want you to open direct communication with the human commanders. We need to understand exactly what we are dealing with. Yes, sir. Admiral Kang opened a channel to Captain Choi's ship. The human captain appeared on screen, looking as calm and patient as before. Captain Choi, the Federation Council would like to speak with you directly. Of course, Admiral. I would be happy to address their concerns. The screen split to show both Captain Choi and the Federation Council. Chancellor Nam spoke first. Captain, we need clarification about your claims regarding human civilization. Our records show no evidence of human presence beyond your solar system. Captain Choi smiled politely. Chancellor, your records are incomplete. We have found it useful to maintain a low profile in galactic affairs. Most species are not ready for contact with truly advanced civilizations. What do you mean by truly advanced? Well, Captain Choi said thoughtfully, your Federation has achieved faster than light travel and energy weapons. You control several dozen star systems. By the standards of young civilizations, this is quite impressive. Dr. Lee spoke up. You speak as if the Federation is a young civilization. We have been exploring space for over 2,000 years. Yes, we know. We have been monitoring your progress. Your species shows great potential for growth beyond your current limitations. Chancellor Nam's voice grew cold. Monitoring our progress? For how long? Oh, since your first ships left your homeworld. We were curious to see how you would develop. Some species become peaceful explorers. Others become aggressive conquerors. We like to keep track of both types. The implications hit Admiral Kang like a physical blow. You have been watching us since the beginning of our space age. Of course. We watch all emerging civilizations. It is important to understand who might become a threat and who might become an ally. Dr. Park felt her legs go weak. Captain, are you saying that human civilization is older than ours? Captain Choi looked surprised by the question. Oh yes, much older. We achieved interstellar travel while your species was still developing agriculture. We have been exploring this galaxy for approximately 12,000 of your years. The Federation Council chamber fell completely silent. 12,000 years. The humans had been spacefaring since before the Federation's member species had developed writing. Chancellor Nam found his voice first. If this is true, why did you allow us to believe we were the dominant galactic power? Because, Captain Choi replied gently, young civilizations need room to grow. If we had revealed ourselves immediately, your species might have become dependent on our technology instead of developing your own capabilities. Conquest and expansion, while problematic, do teach valuable lessons about organization and resource management. Admiral Kang was beginning to understand the horrible truth. We were never a threat to you. We were just children playing with toys, not children. Captain Choi corrected. Adolescence, perhaps. Your species has great potential, but like all young civilizations, you needed to learn certain lessons through experience. And what lesson were we supposed to learn from this? Chancellor Nam asked bitterly. That the universe is larger and more complex than you imagined, that there is always someone stronger, wiser, and more advanced. That true power comes not from the ability to conquer, but from the wisdom to know when conquest is unnecessary. Dr. Lee was frantically taking notes. Captain, how many species like yours exist in the galaxy? Species like ours? We are unique, as is every civilization. But if you mean species with our level of technological development, there are several dozen in this galaxy alone. Several dozen, Chancellor Nam whispered. Oh yes, the galaxy is quite crowded with advanced life, Chancellor. Most of it remains hidden from younger species until they are ready for contact. Admiral Kang felt the last of his pride crumble away. The Federation, which he had believed to be the peak of galactic civilization, was nothing more than one small group among thousands of more advanced species. What happens now? He asked quietly. Captain Choi's expression grew more serious. Now, Admiral, your species faces a choice. You can continue your path of conquest and expansion, in which case you will eventually encounter species that will not be as patient as we have been. Or you can begin the Admiral. Kang stared at Captain Choi on the main screen, trying to process everything he had learned. The Federation was not the supreme galactic power they believed themselves to be. They were barely even noticed by the truly advanced civilizations that ruled the galaxy. Captain, Kang said slowly, you mentioned other species that might not be as patient as humans. What did you mean? Captain Choi's expression grew more serious. Admiral, you have been fortunate that your expansion has remained within human-protected space. There are species in this galaxy that would have responded to your invasions with complete annihilation rather than the gentle correction you have received today. Dr. Park looked up from her instruments with growing alarm. Captain, are you saying that human space includes Federation territory? Dr. Park, human space includes most of this galaxy. The Federation has been expanding within what we consider our outer monitoring zone. On the Federation Council screen, Chancellor Nam looked sick. Our entire civilization exists within your territory? Territory is the wrong word, Captain Choi corrected gently. We prefer to think of it as a protection zone. Young civilizations need safe spaces to develop without interference from hostile advanced species. Admiral Kang felt his worldview shifting again. You have been protecting us? Among others, yes. The galaxy contains many species that view younger civilizations as resources to be harvested or threats to be eliminated. We find it more interesting to see what they become when allowed to develop naturally. Lieutenant Bay looked confused. But if you are so advanced, why do you look like us? Why do you appear humanoid? Captain Choi smiled slightly. We do not, Lieutenant. What you are seeing is a holographic interface designed to make communication easier. Our actual forms might be disturbing to species that are not accustomed to post-biological entities. Post-biological? Dr. Park whispered. We transcended purely biological existence some time ago. What you think of as our bodies are constructed forms we use when physical interaction is necessary. The implications hit Admiral Kang like a hammer blow. The humans were not just technologically advanced. They had evolved beyond the physical limitations that bound all other known species. A new voice joined the conversation. Admiral Kang, this is Fleet Commander Park Ji-sung of the Human Stellar Navy. I believe it is time for a more complete explanation. The space around the Federation fleet suddenly filled with new contacts. Massive ships appeared as cloaking systems deactivated. Each vessel dwarfed the largest Federation battleships. Energy readings suggested power systems that could fuel entire star systems. At the center of the formation, a ship larger than some space stations slowly materialized. Its hull gleamed with materials that seemed to bend light around them. Weapons ports along its sides could have swallowed Federation destroyers whole. The Terra Invicta, Commander Park announced. Our regional command vessel. Admiral Kang stared at the massive ship in growing terror. Regional command? How many ships like that do you have? Enough, Commander Park replied simply. Admiral, I think it is time you understood humanity's true place in galactic civilization. We maintain what your species would recognize as a comprehensive database of all intelligent life in the known universe. A holographic display appeared in the Federation Command Center. It showed a three-dimensional map of the entire galaxy, with millions of points of light indicating different civilizations. Each point represents a different species, Commander Park explained. We monitor their development, assess their threat levels, and determine appropriate contact protocols. Dr. Park stared at the display in wonder and horror. How many civilizations are there? In this galaxy alone? Approximately 47,000 intelligent species at various stages of development. Chancellor Nam's voice was barely a whisper. 47,000? Most are still in early stages of development. Some are primitive hunter-gatherers. Others have achieved basic technology. A few thousand have developed space travel. Only a few hundred have achieved faster-than-light capability. Admiral Kang pointed at the display. Where is the Federation on this map? The display zoomed in on a small section of one spiral arm. A cluster of perhaps 50 systems glowed with Federation markers. Here, Commander Park said. Your civilization currently controls these systems. The scale was devastating. The mighty Galactic Federation, which Kang had believed dominated known space, was a tiny cluster of worlds in one small corner of the galaxy. We have a rating system for galactic civilizations, Commander Park continued. It helps us determine appropriate interaction protocols. A new display appeared showing classification categories. Level 1 civilizations had basic agriculture. Level 2 had developed industry. Level 3 achieved spaceflight. The scale continued upward through increasingly advanced categories. Where does the Federation rank? Dr. Lee asked from the council screen. Level 2.3, Commander Park replied. Moderately advanced regional power. Expansion phase. Moderate threat level. Admiral Kang felt his last shred of pride disappear. Moderate threat level? Your species shows aggressive tendencies but lacks the technology to pose a serious danger to advanced civilizations. We classify you as a regional concern rather than a galactic threat. And humans? Chancellor Nam asked reluctantly. The display shifted to show Earth's entry in the database. Admiral Kang read the classification and felt his blood turn to ice. Level 9.7, Transcendent Cosmic Civilization, Galaxy-Spanning Empire, Extreme Caution Advised. The command center fell silent except for the hum of damaged equipment. Level 9.7. On a scale where the Federation barely reached 2.3, data analyst SEO Jiwon appeared on the communication screen. Admiral Kang, perhaps you would like to know how long we have been monitoring your species specifically. How long? Kang asked weakly. 347 years, 2 months, and 16 days. Since your first faster-than-light test flight, actually. That was when you entered our active monitoring protocols. Dr. Park was studying the human database with growing amazement. You have detailed records of our entire history? Of course. We maintain comprehensive files on all species in our protection zone. Development patterns, cultural evolution, technological advancement, social structures, political systems. We find it fascinating to observe how different species approach the challenges of civilization. Lieutenant Bay made a disturbing connection. You said you have embedded agents throughout Federation space. How many? Agent Kim Tae-won appeared on screen, wearing a Federation uniform that Admiral Kang recognized. He had seen this officer at fleet headquarters many times. Admiral, Agent, Kim said politely, I have been filing reports on Federation military capabilities for 37 years. I believe we have met several times at strategic planning meetings. Admiral Kang stared in shock. One of his own staff officers was a human agent. How many others? Several thousand agents operate throughout Federation territory, Commander Park replied. Scientists, military officers, government officials, merchants. We find direct observation provides the most accurate assessment of developing civilizations. Chancellor Nam looked defeated. What happens to us now? What happens to the Federation? Supreme Admiral Cho Yoonji appeared on the screen. Her presence commanded immediate attention even through the holographic interface. When she spoke, Her voice carried absolute authority. Chancellor Nam, the Federation's age of expansion through conquest ends today. You will immediately cease all military operations against other species. You will release all subjugated worlds that wish independence. You will accept human oversight of your future development. And if we refuse? Chancellor Nam asked quietly. Then you will be classified as a hostile species and dealt with accordingly. I assure you, Chancellor, you do not want to discover what our hostile species protocols involve. Dr. Li found her voice. Admiral Cho, what is the goal of human oversight? What do you want from us? We want you to grow, Dr. Li, to develop into the peaceful, advanced civilization your species has the potential to become. Conquest and domination are evolutionary dead ends. Species that follow that path ultimately destroy themselves or are destroyed by others. Admiral Kang looked around his damaged command center one final time. His officers sat quietly at their stations, processing the reality of their new situation. The Federation fleet, pride of galactic civilization, had been revealed as toys in the hands of cosmic children. Ambassador Lee Sunhwa appeared on screen to explain the terms of Earth's protection agreement. As she spoke, Admiral Kang realized that his fury had indeed vanished completely. In its place was something he had never felt before: humility. The Federation would survive. They would even be allowed to grow and develop, but they would do so under the patient guidance of beings so advanced that they could afford to be merciful to their former enemies. Admiral Kang had set out to conquer a primitive species. Instead, he had discovered that his own people were the primitives, and perhaps, with time and wisdom, they might eventually become something more. The age of Federation expansion was over. The age of human stewardship had begun, and somewhere in the back of his mind, Admiral Kang found himself grateful.